In the previous chapter, you learned about major concepts and benefits of GraphQL. Now it's time to get your hands dirty and start with an actual project. You're going to build a simple clone of Hacker News. Here's a list of features the app will have. You should be able to display a list of links, search the list of links, users can authenticate into the app, authenticated users can create new links, authenticated users can upvote links, one vote per link and user, and we should be able to get real-time updates when other users upvote a link or create a new one. In this track, you'll use the following technologies for building the app. On the front end, you'll be using React. React is a front-end library for building user interfaces. Alongside React, we'll be using Apollo Client. Apollo Client is a fully featured, production-ready caching GraphQL client. Now that term is a little loaded, and we'll get into what a GraphQL client is shortly. On the back end, we'll be using GraphCool, a flexible backend platform combining GraphQL and serverless technologies. To minimize the configuration overhead, we'll be using Create React App, a popular command line tool that gives you a blank project with all the required build configuration already set up. In the client section of How to GraphQL, we already covered the responsibilities of a GraphQL client on a higher level. Now it's time to get a bit more concrete. In short, you should use a GraphQL client for tasks that are repetitive and agnostic to the app you're building. For example, we should be able to send queries and mutations without having to worry about lower-level networking details or maintaining a local cache. This is functionality that you'll want in any front-end application that's talking to a GraphQL server. Why build it yourself if you can use one of the amazing GraphQL clients out there? There are a few GraphQL client libraries available. For very simple use cases such as writing scripts, GraphQL Request might already fulfill your needs. However, chances are that you're writing something larger and more complex, and you want to benefit from caching, optimistic UI updates, and other handy features. In these cases, you pretty much have the choice between Apollo Client and Relay. The most common question heard from people that are getting started with GraphQL on the front end is which GraphQL client they should use. We'll try to provide a few hints that'll help you decide which of these clients is the right one for your next project. Let's start with Relay. Relay is Facebook's homegrown GraphQL client that they open sourced alongside GraphQL in 2015. It incorporates all the learnings that Facebook gathered since they started using GraphQL in 2012. Relay is heavily optimized for performance and tries to reduce network traffic wherever possible. An interesting side note is that Relay itself actually started out as a routing framework that eventually got combined with data loading responsibilities. It thus evolved into a powerful data management solution that can be used in JavaScript apps to interface with GraphQL APIs. The performance benefits of Relay come at the cost of a notable learning curve. Relay is a pretty complex framework, and understanding all its bits and pieces does require some time to really get into it. The overall situation in that respect has improved since the release of 1.0 Relay Modern. But if you're using something just to get started with GraphQL, Relay may not be the right choice for you just yet. Apollo Client is a community-driven effort to build an easy-to-understand, flexible, and powerful GraphQL client. Apollo has the ambition to build one library for every major development platform that people use to build web and mobile applications. Right now, there's a JavaScript client with bindings for popular frameworks like React, Angular, or Vue, as well as early versions of iOS and Android clients. Apollo is production ready and has handy features like caching, optimistic UI, subscription support, and many more. We'll be using Apollo Client for today's tutorial.